Hello everyone, thanks for joining our One Click Canada review. So today I just want to go over a little bit further with this review that I had a chance with this phone, because I really were in a situation that, okay, I'm so upset with Apple. I can have this new era of technology from it and it's time to just move on, And then I thought, I did it before with S10e, like years ago when I had iPhone something. I moved over there and I kept my phone for a bit of time, around maybe 2 years, because I loved the idea of having a small phone. That was the reason. And of course, now we're back to that same thing. Small phone, actually that can be bigger. So that's the idea with this, right? So basically what you can have both of those in a way that you can still use this cover screen. That will be enough for you most of the case, and that's my main vision with this. Let's have it. Finally, I have full screen. To be honest, I'm not a fan of too much edge with this design. However, with a small hand, I can still show you, you won't be able to fully have this control. Even if you put your pinky under it, it will be the case. So that's number one thing. I knew that. Still, I got it because I tried it. But the things that you cannot see in a store is starting to be more showing itself after it. Yeah, after you using it. So that's what happened to me. Definitely, number one thing we love. How cute it is, how great is the colors, and of course this cover screen and how you can actually customize it in a way that you like. So I was keep changing this. You can check my shorts. I was even using some of the Pokemon stuff and so on. This is my favorite as an example. A wallpaper that's moving, perfect. But the reality. So let's talk about first what I like. This is number one. So the other thing I like about is definitely ability to use this phone with the applications, with the Multistar. I know it is extra cumbersome to do that manually, loading another Samsung application actually, but they don't own it in the device itself. So you just need to load it under the store section, Galaxy Store, and that way you can use this, right? So you can go Chrome, you can just actually check the things that you're reading normally and keep doing it, right? But once you need that bigger screen, all you need to do, either clicking this to make this full screen as much as you can, or you can do continuum and just continue from here, right? So that's the good part. But if you go back to main screen here, so you still won't see it right away, you need to go here, click the app. So at least this is an option. Cool, that's my second thing I was happy about. First, I was worried. Razr is giving way better approach here, and if I don't have this in here, it would be a big problem. Not all the apps having this perfect continuity. Still, this is a good one for some of the apps like Chrome, Facebook, Instagram, they work. Probably the others will slowly have it too. If that's your concern, don't worry, Multistar is a good one. Other than those, there was also third one that I am a fan of, is the phone call screen settings that you can have with this. Is you can actually do text to call and all these stuff. So text call feature is that you can actually use this by someone is calling, or if you're calling someone, you can just use texting and it will read it for you. So you don't need to even talk to someone. If you're worried about those things, if you don't like to talk on phone calls, this is a good approach, And sometimes there are those calls that you're not happy about, that you want to talk. Sometimes it could be a scam. Sometimes you just need to double check. This is a good one. This is something definitely I want to see in iPhone. Now they bring it in iOS 26 that you can have this a call screen. You have one text reply option when it's someone that's unknown calling you. Then you have this one text option. Then later on it goes back to voicemail. Here you can keep texting. So that's the good one, I can say, still only available. Live Translate, of course, here another thing. With Live Translate, you're able to add multiple languages here. You can choose the other person and then you can have your call. Turned out you can actually use this Live Translate with these other apps like WhatsApp, Meet, and Messenger, and Instagram. Razr seems like doesn't have it. That's another reason why I didn't even want to try it, because that was other third reason I wanted to have Samsung, is that whole screen features, those abilities I can have. Third thing I like about it, of course, you can have this and then you can have the big screen that you can have this, you know, multiple applications at the same time. So to me, this is a number one priority. Why Android is doing great is because I can use this, you know, I can just open a YouTube here. In addition to that, I can make a screen that, you know, like maybe Amazon, right? So I can make this as a small screen. So that way I have 3 screens in one portion. I can even do this way, right? So I can use this as a tablet. So this is something I'm liking in terms of like how the phone could be more multitaskable, right? But again, these are good things I like about it. But then when you start using this way, I started a little bit overheating, like it's just warming up, but I'm not talking like just a bit warm. It's a little bit higher than warm. Like when I put this on charge, iPhone 14, and how it makes that warm when I actually start checking Facebook and stuff, that's the same warm level I talk about. So you will notice that, and then later battery will be impacted from it. You will notice that battery is being consumed more than it should. So I'm noticing that, okay, if this phone is coming with this downgraded chipset, and if it is actually finally coming with this bigger battery, at least it should give me enough, right? But in my shorts, I'll put the link here, when actually I put it down like nighttime, it was fully charged, and in the morning, by the way, there weren't any update or something. All the things were done. It's the second night actually, and I put it there. In the morning, 30% of the battery was gone. I checked the battery details, but nothing really. So really, what's the issue there, right? Again, optimization. And of course, Android stuff, of course, all these applications, they're all third party, and it's more obvious when it comes to Android. You know it already if you ever use Android, but if you not use Android, then this could be a bit of more obvious for you. So that's my number 2 problem, you know, with this one, like battery. So again, number 1 was kind of solved with the continuity of Multistar, but then battery started to be an issue with the overheating. Overheating, again, for everyone, it could be different. For me, it was more like, okay, to me, if iPhone 14 is charging and I'm using Facebook and I call it overheating, this is overheating too. Especially if you start using the camera for video and stuff, you will notice that more. So just to give you a bit of example with the camera, what I'm trying to say. So here we go with the camera, right? So at this point, it looks great, I'll be honest. But the issues are getting more problematic when I actually start taking photo of it. You know, currently I have a good lighting that's towards here. But in regular life situations, I have been noticing some of those issues with 50 megapixel version versus 12 megapixel. Try it yourself. If you go to 50 megapixel and take a photo versus 12, I will show you those around me here, but you will notice that what I'm talking about. So I even get a screenshot of the ViewFinder here versus 12 megapixel versus 50 megapixel. There is for sure some kind of optimization issue with the app, either processing or whatever. The settings I tried with my friend's Flip 6 versus this one was giving me totally different results compared to Flip 6 versus this, and Flip 6 was much better. So when I'm bringing this up, I'm wondering if this is a hardware issue that my device has, or with some others that I'm seeing in the Reddit as well, or is it more like how we noticed this by a comparison and the others are not really worried about it as an Android camera. But to me, when iPhone 14 is part of my quick camera gesture and then I do this quick photo, you know, captures, that is not a problem. Like the even worst case scenario becomes a good outcome, versus here if I'm even holding the, you know, and then click the button in ViewFinder is perfect, but when I get in here, you know, like how blurry it is at the beginning. It does an optimization, then it becomes better, but again, when you go some other things around here, you're just surprised. And here it is fine because again, The light is good. As long as if it's like outside with a good light, but if it's indoor, I'm not talking about too dark. Indoor, regular day, even some sunshine in the house, but some areas are shadow, still it's getting some problems there. So that's my number 3 issue. And these 2 issues that I'm talking about, like battery and camera, became our priority why I had this phone. And if I cannot have the best quality of, you know, photo and everything, then why am I holding it, right? A regular consumer shouldn't be knowing manual way of taking photo, and they shouldn't be learning about those. It should be all auto settings. This is phone, guys. We're not talking about a Canon machine or some professional, like even I would say like some of the professional phones with coming with 3 cameras and all these settings. I agree with those. If you're getting those phones and if you expect good quality of photo with the manual approach, then that makes sense because it requires that kind of skill set as well. But I'm not getting an iPhone Pro or I don't know, Samsung whatever Pro, right? This is coming with some basic cameras. At least it should be giving me a good outcome that I expect from a regular phone. Like for my iPhone 14, it's coming with 2 camera too, and I'm able to get a quick capture without any worry, without any like concern how I hold the phone, wait for it, take the photo. Okay, hopefully it won't have this blurry image. But yeah, my problem is here with this. Other than those, my main concern was if I change from Apple, what I am losing. So careful on this. Guys, whoever is moving from Apple, and whoever is good with their Apple HomeKit devices, be careful, because I knew it, but I knew that most of my devices is Google Home supported. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can use Google Home mostly. I still have iPad and stuff. I can maybe just do it like a bit hybrid way. Guys, that's a problem. With Apple HomeKit, how you get the notifications, if you have iCloud, how you can record those things, they're all included, right? Home security piece with Apple HomeKit. But with Google, you have to also subscribe their own Google system. I don't know what's called, kind of security or whatever. I don't know even the pricing, but the problem with Google, let me show you here. If I open Google Home, so it loads fine, right? And you can access it from even the notification center area as well. But the cameras is my problem. How much it takes to load. Like, this is something I'm not a fan of, because in Apple HomeKit, it takes just seconds. It's just using cache data, so you can actually see like 3 seconds ago, 5 seconds ago, which I need that. I don't need live information, and it still keep trying to load these Aqara camera. So with Aqara, with Google, I'm having more issues, but finally it just loaded, you see. But if it doesn't load, just this is a trick. You can just go in and then exit. It will load later on. It will just kind of a bit trigger to get doorbell. As you can see now, it got it. So yes, it loads. You can see your cameras. It's just a bit slower than Apple HomeKit. So broadcast feature doesn't work for Gemini when you do that. Just so you know, this is something I noticed. You can still do broadcasts with Apple Home with no issue. To me, one other thing I like here is this one. When I go here, in here you can add this smart home stuff however you want with all these things. Here though, the options are limited, so you can have this home section here. Click on this and then it opens this view, which is still good. But again, the cameras, for me, like taking this forever is not my favorite. But here is much better. Other than that, if your device is already Google Home supported, then you should be fine. But again, it really depends how you use these things. In Coverscreen, you don't have Google Home access as a widget. You can still access from here as an application, which is fine. Definitely fine. There's no problem with that. You can even see your cameras the way that I was showing. Here it is. Actually, let's do it. As you can see, these are the cameras, but again, it will take some time to load, but it works. But as a widget, what you can do is your SmartThings, if you can add those, some of the devices as a partnership with the link of the brand you're using to the SmartThings, then it will work for you as well. Then I can add my lock, I can add my garage door, so I can directly use these ones without waiting for Google Home. It's just more like, a few items here, I can just click those to use. So still SmartThings in Home, Google Home, you can do that, mix and match, widget perspective, SmartThings, and the other way around with the Google Home. So in Multistar, you don't have SmartThings here. So if you want to use your Frame TV remote, what I suggest, you can just directly add that here. So let me show you. That's the one. So this is a good version as well. There is like the button I used here instead of camera is SmartThings. So if I do this, you can actually have the SmartThing remote here automatically. You can choose whichever you're trying to control. At least this is a good option because when you are getting as a notification, when you click on it, it says open the screen to use inner screen. This is a good workaround. So anyway, these are kind of a bit of tips and tricks and what I liked versus what I didn't like. But from Google versus Apple perspective, to me, Apple HomeKit is a big piece. Also with iOS 26, I'm kind of liking how the experience with this new design, liking this kind of curved design, like this liquid glass. I'm not too opposed. Again, I'm liking this modern feeling of it. This is the AOD, always on display. Normally I want to keep this forever, but it's just only 5 seconds with the wallpaper option. So the problem is here. If I go here, you see tap to show. Yeah, if I just make it like always, which I thought it was gonna do it that way. Wait, look at this. This is the AOD now. And even though I do one tap, the wallpaper doesn't come back. So basically, if you did always, then you see only this portion of the screen all the time. Wallpaper is not there. But for me, like in iPhone today, that's the thing, with always on display in iPhone, you always see this version. Not this. This is actually a routine I connected now. But what I want, I don't need to just always click, and I want to keep wallpaper and clock together. Any way to do it, let me know. Alright guys, now let's give it a try with the Android Auto. I wonder how it will work. Right, now it's just pairing code. Hopefully it was 0000. I'll try that. Okay, 000 worked. We are good, connected. So now, hopefully this should automatically connect. This one is turning now. Look at here. I can see it. I can see Spotify view here. Actually, I'm liking it. Okay, search. I'll just go home. I see start. Here is something I noticed in this one. Even though it's Google, in Android iOS one, if you go somewhere, it automatically shows your speed and what speed it should be. Here it shows it too, but it doesn't show me the what my current speed. Another piece is the easy access to the HomeKit stuff, as you can see garage door here when in range. Still my liking around this, like all the apps, even third party, is adapting this design. While in Android, even if you think about this, like how ONEUI of Samsung is trying to adopt their own theme, everything, right? But when you go Chrome, like this has totally different design, like if I go here and try to just, these 3 dots, you see this is not Samsung's design. This is not what you're used to. And then messages, if you use Google, then it's the same thing. So that's my problem a little here. But when I'm using iPhone, any third-party application mostly adapted their design. So I don't know. One thing that I'm finding myself is that I'm liking that consistency over, all these different designs and different applications, and how third party could be a little bit feeling off. So then I'm like, how long will it take to get much warmer in the future? How long it will be lasting with this chipset? These are my questions. And then what about when it's on battery, when it's on charging and using all these? I didn't have a chance to test. I didn't want to risk it. I've heard some of the Reddit forum stuff that, they were charging and it was so hot. Even with the, simple setup from iPhone to this, when they were doing all these things, it was so hot, and then a day later the inner screen is gone. What if that happens to me as well? So to me, those are concerns, like I can't risk. And again, this one I bought myself and I get it with this pre-order. It delayed a few days. I finally got it. I was a bit worried with the mint color. I will say that I like it. Like this was other thing that I was worried, but I like it. Again, to me, there were some of the problems that I was able to resolve. Again, some workarounds, but some of the items that I cannot, like especially camera. Like I did have some updates that didn't change the settings that didn't change. Anyway, these are all I was experiencing and I want to share with you all. I have some shorts that I already shared those examples. If you have any questions, please leave the comments. If you have any suggestions for settings, maybe I can try. But that's the final part that I want to share. Actually, I decided to return it. I shared all my concerns with Samsung and finally they accepted it. Anyway, I'm like, okay, we are returning this. And I'm just, in a process of return, just waiting for the tracking number and so on. I'm in Canada. If anyone want to get a bit more details how the return process, I can also record a video around that. Thanks everyone for watching my video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe. This is my first time with the video that I want to share per my experience. If you're liking this format, I can add some other stuff that I'm using into this kind of reviews. Thanks everyone.